Okay, hello. You can only see my hi. This is my mouth. Welcome to live mouth. Here I am. So I am working on the production to this one song called "See Me by the Window," and that's what I'm basically gonna work on right now. Let's see if you can hear a little bit. Hopefully you can hear that. I'm not sure how that sounds until after this live stream, but that hook is actually from the song. Okay, I have to go in my headphones now so I can actually hear what I'm hearing. Unfortunately, you won't be able to hear that, so this is probably going to be very boring as a live stream because you're just watching some titties and some voice lip movement, some sounds out of my vocal box that's making language. I can turn the volume on my keyboard, but you're not going to actually hear any of the effects that I've applied to the piano, which is going to be what the songs are going to sound. You're going to hear this dry ass, yeah, this nasty ass, gross keyboard ass sound. I'm sorry. I'm grateful to at least be able to play on a keyboard since I can't afford a piano, but I can just hear the fake inauthentic sounds of the keyboard, and it just grinds my ears. And then hearing hearing that, oh gosh, it's so gross. Okay, anyway, at least you can hear something this way. It's so hard sometimes to play organically when I know like there's a camera on me and I know that you can hear the song but not the way I hear it in my head because you're hearing it through a dinky keyboard, and that I'm not actually performing because I'm recording and creating. So just knowing that makes it very difficult to tap into my authentic expression. I'm just improvising right now. I guess I can share a little bit about the song See Me by the Window, since I was working on that one a little bit earlier in this video. Okay, I am still writing lyrics to this, by the way. I'm still writing lyrics to this and fine-tuning it, but See Me by the Window is there's just a lot going on in this. There's a lot of memories. There was a period in my life a long time ago where I lived in New York City, and I was kind of couch hopping and had a lot of bad experiences. Wasn't the best person myself, and it was a huge learning experience. It was a huge challenge. There were so many revelations, so many epiphanies. There was a lot of struggle. There was a lot of trauma going on. There was a lot happening at that time. This is like more than 10 years ago, I believe. And See Me by the Window, I wanted to write a song that kind of talked a bit about that experience, or pieces of that experience, because there's too much to put into one song. So I wrote a little bit about that in this song, but it's only around towards the middle end of the song. Oops. Okay, sorry. Basically, what the title is referring to, See Me by the Window, is when a person experiences a lot of trauma or a lot of complex trauma, there's this thing called disassociation, and it's very common for a person who's gone through a lot of that to disassociate. And I know that personally, one of my biggest survival mechanisms was the freeze state. So anytime I felt triggered, anytime I was going through something, I I went into freeze mode. And that's not uncommon for somebody with my kind of childhood experience, being the scapegoated child to narcissistic family abuse. It's very common for scapegoated children to disassociate and to experience more of a conditioned survival response to be the freeze response for them. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that in those environments, at least in my own, because I can only really talk about my own, I couldn't fight back. Anytime I tried to, in any kind of way, verbally, physically, any kind of way, going to somebody else for help, it was met with aggression, or met with a threat or something that let me know, okay, I can't survive this environment fighting it. Fleeing is another trauma response. That was something that I also couldn't do. Attempts I made to run away, attempts I made to get as far as I could, didn't always work out. And again, that same message was received of, okay, I can't fight this threat, I can't run from this threat, and I don't want to fawn either, because that would mean for me to completely abandon myself and different aspects of myself that had to be suppressed or be repressed. And from there, freeze was really the only option that, I guess, in my childhood brain, in my childhood, I guess he felt like that was the safest way to survive. And unfortunately, that trauma response set the stage for me to experience other traumas throughout my life, because I would go into freeze automatically, and then a person could do whatever they wanted. So See Me by the Window is a reference to disassociation, and how, growing up, I always heard the saying that you can see a person's soul by looking through their eyes. You can see the truth by looking into somebody's eyes. And I've heard metaphors and analogies always describing the eye as like the window to the soul. That's what I was trying to say, the window to the soul. And so that came to my mind one time, because when I first wrote this song, it was complete improv. It was a couple years ago, and it was a complete improv song. I actually still have the recording of that complete improv. It's beautiful to listen to, but it's also funny because there aren't lyrics that I'm reading. I'm just kind of making them up as I go. Typically when I do improv, that's kind of how it happens. It's like the song will write itself through me, and as I'm trying to like build or construct the melody, my mind will just start to fit words together just to help kind of weave that melody to the chords that are being built. And so all the lyrics in that are a little like random, and it's not really about that as much as it's just about like the overall creation. So anyway, that song, I had done that song, and I had See Me by the Window was a lyric that came to it, and I realized, I'm like, that really reminds me of being disassociated. Like, I will be here, I will be physically present, but I'm not always mentally present. A lot of times throughout my life, many times throughout my life actually, I would be here physically, but very off in the distance in my mind, locked away in some kind of tower. I used to make jokes that it was kind of like a Disney princesses. You'll see they're like locked in a tower and someone has to come save them. Um, Even though I'm a guy, that's kind of how it would feel. It's like all the trauma is like the dragon or the monsters that are guarding and keeping trapped my real self, the core self, the inner child. Um, and really, the rescuing needs to be done not by somebody else, but by myself. You know, it's the person that I am right now going through the inner depths and layers to fight off all the beasts that my inner child doesn't feel strong or capable enough to do, and rescuing my inner child to prove to them I can take care of us. You can trust me because look, I just conquered our enemies. You know what I mean? So I've had to go on that journey, especially these last couple of years. And See Me by the Window really kind of discusses some of that. It discusses some of what it was like being in school for me, mainly like high school. I went to an all-boy Catholic high school. And then some of my time in New York, and then just some like thoughts. But some of the lyrics. Some of the lyrics are Call to Heaven, 777. God, are you with me? My wings are at stake. I'm one move from checkmate. Make me stronger, hate me no longer, heal my soul, make me whole. I hid my emotions, walled out every person, masked it with a smile so no one felt my pain. I loved you both sincerely, but found to show it clearly. Please forgive the child who was struggling to stand. 12 years with regret, still working to be a better man. And the reference to I love you both sincerely is referring to the paragraph that happens before that, which I didn't read, which is about a specific experience that happened in New York for me. But yeah, it ends with me saying, year by year I feared it all and hid away. Year by year I've wasted days. Lost my mind, brief afterglows, see me by the window. So that's the song, and I've been trying to touch up the lyrics because some of them I just didn't feel like I could write it better. Like I have childhood monsters walked the school halls, snapping their jaws. I don't like the snapping their jaws. To me, that sounds so corny, so I'm gonna like change that. Heavy this cross was, crucified, whipped, stoned, and wings clipped. I acted out, so they hammered me down, every nail poking out their renown. I think I've changed a lot of that since then. Then I had malevolent genders, both caused harm, same beast, different arm. Fighting in the schoolyard, boys with their fists, girls with their charm. Oh, I found peace in the primal, animals God, hated humans, exiled from their world. And a lot of that is talking about how, you know, it was a very lonely experience. I had friends, but I also felt like I was alone, isolated a lot. Like I didn't always feel connected to here, or really connected to everyone. It felt very difficult for me to connect. It felt difficult for me to relate with people. It felt difficult for me to express and explain myself and have other people understand me. And that just got exhausting, so I would just kind of give up on even trying to do that sometimes. The malevolent genders is because, you know, throughout my years, having met a lot of people, talked with a lot of people, gone through a lot of things, you know, my observation has been both genders suck. Like, there are great things about both, but they are both the same. Just like I said, you know, same beast, just different arms. So noticeable differences because they're not exactly the same thing, but they're both still humans, you know. So there's still the same beast, and they're both completely capable and act on that capability to be cruel, to be vindictive, to be gossipy, to be rude, to be judgmental, to be just vicious. I have known so many vicious women. I've known so many vicious men. So I really wanted to talk about that in the song too, because you know, when I hear about like gender wars, I kind of find it interesting because from my personal experience, I have seen the similarities and the two are the same. I can notice and identify the nuanced differences between them, but it doesn't change the realities that I experienced where both of them are capable of the same kind of cruelty and both of them have acted on that same kind of cruelty. Just, of course, nuanced, not just because of their gender, but because of the individuals are all different, you know? So there's a lot of nuance in everything, obviously, but, you know, yeah. I feel like at that point, with all those experiences, I'm not available to be fooled by the arguments that people will try to protect and project and argue to booster themselves up on a pedestal of any kind. Because at this point it's like, no, you both suck and you both are awesome, and you know what I mean? It's like I want to keep my eyes open beyond the veil. You know, the veil being all the narratives and stuff like that, and seeing through it and seeing the species, and then also seeing the nuanced individual amongst the species. So anyway, that is what that song is going to be about. And yeah. I also was, let me see if you can hear this. I'm also adding little different sound effects to kind of make the experience a little bit more visceral and I guess like tangible, like you can feel yourself there. So the song, since I begin the song talking about school and stuff like that, I have a high school hallway sound effects. So I'm adding those, and then I added some effects on them to kind of make them sound a little bit ethereal. So, let's see. So something like that. Anyway, I think I'll end it here for today, but thank you for listening, thank you for joining in, and yeah, see you for the next one.